Gun rights advocates rally at state capitals across U.S. Indianapolis, gun rights supporters, some carrying rifles and ammunition, rallied at state capitals across the country Saturday to emphasize their views in a debate heightened by the deadly Florida school shooting earlier this year and the national protests that followed. Hundreds of people gathered at the Indiana Statehouse, saying they disagree with those who have called for a repeal of the Second Amendment and for limits on gun rights. To Saturday's participants, the right to bear arms isn't given by the Constitution but simply protected by it, organizer Bill Slike III said. We're sympathetic to the fears of the people who want to take guns away, who want to ban things. But when you look at the details of what the actual proposals are, they aren't going to do what people think they're going to do, Slike said. There's a great, huge misconception about what the proposed laws actually would do. Slike said the Indiana rally was organized by a small group who invested their own money to make it happen. More, at 1 million plus strong, March for Our Lives rallies make powerful statement. More, free rifle magazines handed out at gun rights rally in Vermont. At a pro-gun rights gathering Saturday in Atlanta, more than a quarter of the estimated 160 rally-goers carried weapons, as well as flags and signs saying "Don't tread on me" as they listened to speakers talk about the right to bear arms. A few people wearing Black Lives Matter t-shirts showed up at the rally and made videos, but didn't interact with the rally-goers. Protesters also showed up in Boston, Montpelier, VT, Albany, NY, Austin, Texas, Des Moines, and other cities. Saturday's protests were planned in dozens of state capitals less than 3 weeks after hundreds of thousands marched in Washington, New York and elsewhere to demand tougher gun laws after the February school shooting in Parkland, Florida, that killed 17. Organizers of those protests demanded a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, and called for universal background checks on potential gun owners. The coalition behind the gun rights rallies describes itself as a collection of patriotic-based groups that come from all walks of life, including 3% groups and local militias. The 3% movement vows to resist any government that infringes on the U.S. Constitution. Its name refers to the belief that just 3% of colonists rose up to fight the British. Such groups lack the following of more mainstream Second Amendment advocates such as the National Rifle Association. A group called the National Constitutional Coalition of Patriotic Americans spread word of Saturday's gatherings on social media. About 500 people gathered at the peaceful Indianapolis event, which encouraged participants to bring their guns, unloaded, but keep them off government complex grounds, in accordance with the law. Some of the signs at the rally were familiar, including images of the Confederate flag and early American patriot symbol of a coiled snake with the words "Don't tread on me." But there were other signs, too, including one that read "If the Second Amendment doesn't apply to semi-automatic rifles today, then the first doesn't apply to the phone, TV and computers." One man also held a handmade sign that read "Two things I will die for are my sons and my guns." Contributing, The Associated Press.